What's going on, everybody? So we're doing a new series of videos and we're calling them Bushcraft skills. These are skills I think anybody should have for the outdoors. So what we're covering today is making char cloth. And the first step in making char cloth is getting a tin. Now you're going to need a tin. We're going to put a small hole in the tin. You could use this Altoids can. And the whole point is we want to let it outgas when we're making our char cloth. Now I'm not going to use this Altoids tin for this. I actually have that for another project, but I have these little round tins. I got several of them off Amazon. I'm going to mark the center here. I don't know if you can hear that. There's a cat at the door. He's saying, "Open the door." Okay, that's dead center of the tin, and I'm going to drill that out. You want to take the lid off when you're doing stuff like this, because it's real easy with a sharp drill bit. See that? I hit the pad there pretty hard. It's real easy to go all the way through your tin. So that's step one. Step two, we go outside, we build a fire, and we burn this out. The reason we burn this out is, I don't know if these are coated or painted or what, but we want to get the coating off there. So we're going outside and making a fire. Alright, so we have a fire going here in our elevated barrel. I'm actually burning out a stump right here. Very easy way to do it. But we're going to take advantage of this fire that I'm doing for my chores. If you notice down here, because the barrel is elevated off these bricks, we have a nice little bed of coals available. So now, get the tin down here. We're going to get it right in these coals. And we're just going to let the fire do its thing, and we'll come back when it's done. It's been like maybe 5 minutes. This fire's good and hot, so we'll fish our tin out. And look at that. It looks like bare metal now compared to what it was. It was gold going in. Now it just looks like a tin. So next step, we wait for this to cool. So I'll bring it back. It has cooled off. And when we look inside here, we see some of the residue from the finish on the inside. So I'm going to stick this lower part back in the fire and burn the rest of this out. The lid looks really good, but I'm going to put it near the fire as well. So another 5 minutes. After its second burn, there's like no more residue. Now I'm just going to take a soft scrubby pad. I'm going to knock all this junk off it. And we're on to the next step. Next step we do with the tin, like I said, I took a little scrubby and I knocked all the heavy stuff off. We want to keep this from rusting out. So just a little petroleum jelly, Vaseline. Just a tiny bit. We don't want a whole lot here. And I just rub the whole thing down, inside and out. Just a very small coating. Goes a long way, and that just keeps it from rusting out. It doesn't really affect what we're going to do, because I've tried it. I even tried putting a little bit more than I normally would, and it burns off, so it doesn't really affect us making char cloth. Okay, so let me finish that up and I'll bring you back for the next step. After you've had the tin all coated, wipe it off with a paper towel. It'll take more residue off, and you're left with a bare tin, and you're ready to go to the next step. Next step is we need material to make our char cloth with. The best material out there is denim, 100% cotton denim. This is actually the rear pocket off a pair of old jeans that had so many holes in them that it was more than a fashion statement for me to try to wear them anymore. So I'm turning it into char cloth. Now, when I took this off there, I made sure I pulled out all the stitching, because while this is 100% cotton, the stitching was likely nylon or polyester. So bear that in mind if you're going to recycle a pair of jeans. So let me get a pair of scissors here, and we're going to cut this up to fit inside our tin. So I'm thinking right about that wide. There's one piece, and we're just going to stack pieces in there. There's another piece. There's another piece. I think I can get that piece in there. Okay. And I cut another strip that's about yay wide. And you continue this till this tin is full. This tin pretty full. So, back out to the fire. We take our loaded tin, we put it back in the coals with the air hole side up. And basically what we're looking for is for that thing to smoke out of the hole. And as it smokes, when it stops smoking, we know we're ready to pull it out of the fire. It'll take a minute or two for it to get going. And there it's smoking. You can see a little bit of that dark smoke coming out of there. Now, it could take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes for this to be done, but as soon as that smoke stops, we get it out of the fire and let it cool off. The tin has cooled off. Let's take a look at our char cloth. Look at that. It shrunk down, but that's definitely char cloth. So let's get set up over here, pull a piece out, and give it a test. We got our piece of chert, or if you have a piece of flint, we have our piece of char cloth and our steel striker. So what you want to do is you want to take this piece of char cloth, and I like ripping it right down the middle, and that just kind of exposes more of those fibers. And then sometimes I'll just put a few extra rips in here. What I'm doing is I'm just making this irregular, exposing more fibers to hopefully catch a spark. And we're going to put it here on this shelf. We're going to hold it with our non-striking hand, our thumb, and we're going to get it close to this edge here. And when you strike, you want to kind of turn this up a little bit, because what we want to do is we want to drive those sparks into the char cloth. Okay, let's give it a try. And if you catch a spark, you want to blow on this, and you'll see if you got a coal or not. And you're not going to get it. We got one. And there we go. Now you would transfer this to your bird nest, your tinder. But it looks like our char cloth works very well. All right, let's head back in the house and I will give you some further instructions here and we'll wrap this up. Did another treatment of Vaseline on the outside, rubbed it in, then wiped it off with a paper towel. And that's just to preserve the metal, because it'll start rusting if you don't. Because remember, we burnt all the finish off this down to the bare metal. Now we still got a decent amount of char cloth in there, a nice little supply, but we want to protect the char cloth from absorbing any moisture. Now, given enough time, that char cloth will even absorb moisture from the humidity. If you live in a very humid area, it'll absorb moisture out of the air. And Michigan can be very humid, just like a lot of other states. So what we're going to do is we're going to seal this tin up so our char cloth remains nice and dry. And we do that with some electrical tape. Electrical tape's about the right size. So what we're going to do here, find the end, which is always a challenge. Alright, there's the end of the electrical tape. First we're going to go around the rim here, and we're sealing this up. Okay, and once we overlap, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut that off right there. And we're going to fold this back over on itself to make a little tab to where we can grab that. So we can grab this tab and take that off to open that. Now we're going to make a piece to cover the hole. There we go. So now this is sealed. This can go in your pack or your fire kit, and you have your char cloth. Plus you have a tin, you can make more char cloth. Just, that's all there is to it. It's not terribly difficult. It's just the fact that you have to keep this dry. If this is not dry, you're going to find it impossible to catch a spark and start an ember. Alright? And that's all we got to say about making char cloth. I hope you'll join me in for the other related videos. They should be popping up here. And I will see you later on. Maybe making some char cloth. Maybe playing with some flint and steel. Thank you for watching.